What if I told you that one of the most powerful diplomatic players in the world has no traditional army, no traditional economy, and almost no territory to defend? Just ideas, symbols, and an astonishing global network. That's the Vatican, the seat of the Catholic Church, inside a small section of Rome in Italy. And with the death of Pope Francis, that quiet power is suddenly back in the spotlight. And before we understand more about it in this briefing, please remember to click subscribe so you'll be able to know more and faster about global geopolitical topics like this one. The Holy See, yes, that tiny independent entity inside Rome, has diplomatic relations with 183 states. Has a special seat at the United Nations. It speaks directly to Washington, Beijing, Moscow, or Tehran. It sends nuncios instead of ambassadors. But make no mistake, the Vatican plays a long and influential game. And Pope Francis, first Jesuit Pope, first Latin American, well, he knew very well that its soft power could mean a lot of geopolitical leverage. From the beginning, he shifted the Church's global focus away from European traditionalism towards poverty, inequality, climate change, and migration. In 2015, Laudato Si wasn't just an encyclical, that is, just a papal letter. It was a strategic document. It placed environmental justice at the heart of moral legitimacy, right as the world was preparing the Paris Climate Accord. Francis didn't negotiate treaties. He shaped the moral language behind them. And then came the China deal. In 2018, the Vatican signed a secretive provisional agreement with Beijing on the appointment of bishops, who were until now appointed directly just by the Communist Party without any say from the Church. And this agreement was renewed in 2024. Controversial? Absolutely. Critics said it sold out the underground church. But Francis saw it as the only way to remain present inside the world's most or second most populous nation. A high-risk move typical of his pragmatic diplomacy. But Francis wasn't just global, he was deeply Latin American. Many defined him as a liberal pope of the poor and the marginated. He framed our era as the Third World War in pieces. And he said it loudest in places like Mexico, where narco-violence, corruption, and economic exclusion fuel a long-running crisis. And that matters, because what happens in Mexico doesn't stay in Mexico. It spills into the US, debates on immigration, security, and foreign aid. Francis understood that very well, and he put Latin America, his Latin America, back on the global radar. And now, he's gone. April 21st, 2025, Francis dies of a stroke and heart failure at 88. The reaction? Global. Leaders from East and West paid tribute. Joe Biden called him a bridge builder, and Donald Trump said he was a good man who loved the world. Both lowered flags. And that tells you everything. Francis was one of the rare figures who could move between moral and geopolitical spheres, between spiritual language and real-world consequences. Now, all eyes turn to the conclave, the College of Cardinals. Most of them were named by Francis himself. And the questions are two. First one, who will be the next pope? Will he be from Europe? Maybe the Secretary of the Vatican, Pietro Parolin? Maybe from Asia, like the 76-year-old Filipino Luis Antonio Tagle? Again from America, maybe. For example, the Chicago-born president of the Papal Commission on Latin America, Robert Francis Prevost? Or, as many foresee, it will be the time of Africa, which is, for the Catholic Church, the most promising land. 76-year-old Peter Turkson from Ghana is a name. Or maybe the younger Fridolin Ambrongo Bezungu from Congo, who is now 65 and was very critical opponent to Pope Francis' opening to the LGBT communities. From the choice of the Pope, we will also understand the second question. That is, will the Vatican double down on Francis' path, climate diplomacy, Latin American engagement, cautious China approach, or will shift back towards a more conservative European-centered doctrine? Because here's the thing, the Church isn't just a religious institution. Oh no, it's a global player. And the next Pope will inherit a network of centuries, actually millennia of influence in the middle of the 21st century power struggle. Something that does affect global power dynamics and will continue to do so in the US, Europe, Latin America, Africa, and even Asia. So thanks for watching, and if this gave you a fresh perspective, do hit like, do hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comment, especially on who you think the next Pope should be, or maybe what kind of church are you expecting in the future. See you.